Hello scholars, welcome back to our virtual art class. So I'm gonna just go ahead on and get started. This is Mr. Farrar again. So the last video we talked about lines, so I think I'm gonna dive more deeply into what lines are and how we can identify them or look at them in our artwork. So what I did was I pulled up some images and it just takes a simple Google. If you Google elements of art and line, then you'll find some interesting art that can give you an idea as to what we can do or how we can use lines to make our artwork, to emphasize our artwork and make it as pleasing to the eye and as enjoyable to look at as possible. So here we have some examples of line again. So we have different types of line, and they've chosen to really accentuate the lines by making them red and doing a double line. But we can see we have broken line, we have thick lines, we have curved lines, we have diagonal lines. That means they go at an angle. A horizontal line is going to be a line that sits across. And so if you had me last year, you know that we discussed horizontal, vertical, diagonal lines in a class, and I might have even shown you a song that went along with that. Vertical line is a line that you would be drawing up and down. We have parallel lines, two lines that sit across from each other. So there are different ways to utilize lines on your paper. And so I thought this was really neat right here. This is a drawing that really emphasizes the use of lines to create an image. So if you look really, really closely, you see that there's a lot of different lines going in different directions to give you the illusion that there's water moving up, that there are stones here. Some lines are thicker and darker so that we get an outline of each individual stone. And some lines are really lighter and thinner because the artist does not want you to focus on those lines. So you could see the lines that are in her dress are very light because they don't want you to focus too much on those lines. They're just there to accompany the other lines that are here so that you get the full effect that there is a girl running on the stones. Right here, this is what we call a cross contour drawing. So that just means that you have lines that are going across an object, and contouring means to follow the shape, So a cross contour is just lines growing across an object so that you get the effect that it has some weight to it, that it is there. So this is what we call a cross contour drawing. You can actually do this at home by putting your hand on paper, tracing the outline of your hand, and then from one end of your paper to the other, you're just following that outline that you've already traced of your hand all the way to the end with lines. So you're just continuing to do that all the way across your paper over top of the hand that you traced, and you can get a cross contour drawing just by doing that. And if you look really hard, it actually looks a little 3D because that's the effect of that cross contour. You're learning how to make the lines give the appearance that it is going across the surface or across the object, right? So let's look at the examples of different lines. So in the other video, I told you about making these boxes where you could draw little designs using lines within the boxes. So this is a good example of what you could do at home to work on those small motor skills. That means the small muscles that are in your hands. Doing activities like this can really help you to build those muscles so that you have more control when you're drawing, when you're using your pencil, or when you're using your markers to make art. These are other examples of the design. So you can go online, find you some little designs like this and try to imitate them on a sheet of paper. And that will help build your lines. I would like for you guys to try and do some lines on your paper and email those lines, those designs that you've done to me, and show me how creative you are as far as making these little designs utilizing the lines that you are trying to make. Let's look at a few more. Right here. So here's another example of the language that we use when we discuss lines. So straight lines, they go in one complete direction. Vertical, remember that vertical lines, vertical is up and down. Diagonal is a line that slopes, almost like you're going up a mountain, like that. So a diagonal could be going this way or it could be going that way. Horizontal lays flat across your paper. So that's horizontal. Wavy lines have a slight change in direction. So we have other words here like scallop. I guess that would mean this way of creating a pattern, almost like fish scales. Zigzag is a quick change in direction. So you start off in one direction, you quickly change. Whereas wavy, you're slowly changing your direction. Curly, I mean, all of us have probably done that on our paper at some point. And some of these other ones are just things that you could try. If you want to pause the video just to see what's there. You have thick lines. Try to, also when you're making your lines, try to adjust the darkness and the lightness of your lines as well. So pushing down on your paper will make a darker line, and having a lighter touch when you draw will make a lighter line on your paper. So try to adjust the darkness and the lightness of your line as you're drawing. And then also thickness and thinness can determine, can be used when you're holding your pencil, maybe holding your pencil straight onto the paper like this will give you a thinner line than if you turn it to the side. That'll give you a much thicker line if you hold your pencil to the side. So it just depends on how you choose to approach the lines, but I really want you guys to really try to do some designs that will be different. And there's nothing, you can use other colors, so I'm not telling you that you have to do everything in black and white. You can use different colors to accentuate the lines, and you can use different objects, so different tools like crayon, marker, pen, pencil, a paintbrush if you have it. Just experiment with the different types of lines and the quality of the lines. So if you're using a marker is going to have a different quality than, I don't know, a piece of chalk, maybe. So you can experiment with the different types of lines with whatever you have at home. If you only have a pencil, then use that pencil in the best way that you can to make different types of marks on your paper. So the whole idea is to create a series of designs on your paper that are different, and showing, you're learning how many ways you can make a mark on your paper, because the element of art that we are focusing on is line at the moment. We'll also be discussing later how we can use line to make different types of textures on our paper. But these are the different ways that we can use line in art. Contour means you're making a drawing that only uses lines. It does not have any details within. So this is a contour drawing of a bicycle. You can just see that it doesn't have any shading or any color. It's only lines. If we look right here, when it says analytical, that just means a way of drawing that is really, really straight and perfect using lines. So if you're drawing a square, you're not freehanding, you're actually using a ruler to do it with your lines. You're utilizing a lot of different shapes that like triangles. That would be a more analytical way of using, I just lost it, of using line. Expressive way of using line is that you're freehanding. You're drawing free-handed, you're making scribbles, you're making curves, you're not making so many straight edges like the first. Hatched way of making lines is you're drawing a series of lines that are moving in the same direction. Cross-hatching is you're drawing a series of lines moving in one direction and then you come back the other way and go the opposite direction and it kind of comes over like this. So we'll cover a lot of these later on, but I just wanted you to get familiar with what's out there as far as using lines in your artwork. And then down here, you know, we just went over these, but remember, vertical is a line that's going up and down on your paper. Horizontal are lines that are going across on your paper. Diagonal lines are going at an angle on your paper. So it could be this way or this way. Zigzag lines are changing in a quick direction, so quickly changing its direction. A curved line or a wavy line is slowly changing its direction, so you're getting a slow change in direction. All right, so I hope that some of what I went over with you about lines is helpful. This is an idea of what you could do just using lines. These are a lot of good art pieces where there's only the lines. You don't see any color, you don't see any value, we're just focusing on the lines. So a lot of cartoons are drawn using only lines at first, and then we add our color and all of the other stuff later. So lines are basic building blocks for making art, and you can do a lot of different things just drawing with only lines and not worrying about color or anything else. So I look forward to seeing your artwork, and I'll catch you in the next video.